Well, hello, and this is going to be our lesson 2. So, in the last lesson, we learned some fundamental data types and just basic input output from using IO stream. So, in order to keep the CPP files as it is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to comment this entire file out. So, when I actually put this in on Udemy, I'm going to uncomment this, but for now, I don't need this. So this is our lesson 1. Now let's create a new file, cpp file, and call this lesson 2. So in this lesson, my plan is to teach statements and flow control, right? So using the most common if, else, while, and all those stuff. Okay, so let's just do our basic stuff. IO stream using namespace std, right, int main, and then also return no, and cr, and then say this program teaches flow control, right? So there we go. Now let's do this, right? Let's say that first let's use if. Okay, so let's say integer integer a is equal to 2.0. yeah, then we'll use if a is less than 2.0. if a is equal to 2.0, equal. Okay, so equal means it should be exactly equal to this value, right? So an integer cannot have decimal places, so let's change this to double. If a is equal to 2.0, then let's declare another variable called a double b, right? Then b should be equal to a plus 2. Okay, so if a is equal to 2.0, else b is equal to 1.0. okay, so basically it's saying if the value of a is equal to 2.0, then b should be equal to whatever the value of a plus another 2, let's say 4.0 as well. Otherwise, so this is otherwise b is equal to 1.0. Now just to make sure what we are doing is correct, cout value of a and then print a, right, and then end b, then we print out b and then end the line there. Okay, let's see what we have. So value of a is currently 2 and b is 4. Now let's change the value to something else. Let's say value of a is 0.0, right? So value of a is 0 and b is now 1. So now this statement has come true. Now let's modify this guy. Actually, let's put another statement, else if a is less than 1.0, and this time we will use another control statement called end, right? If a is less than 1.0 and a is greater than or equal to 0.0, then now we have put two statements saying that if a is less than 1.0 and a is greater than 0.0, so in between 0 and 1, then we need to close this with one entire bracket, then b is equal to 10.0, right? So let's see now what happens. Now at the moment our a is at 0.0, so I'm guessing that this statement should come true. So let's see, we will check this out. Right, so this statement is what comes true now. This statement is ignored because we have explicitly said that if a is between 0 and 1, then b should be equal to 10, right? Let's declare another variable. Now we can use the comma and say there's another variable called c as well, right? So this time we will put inside here. So while a is less than 0.5, now we are putting another statement in between 0 and 1, saying that if a is less than 0.5, then b is equal to 5.0, right? So this time what we will do, we will put this as 0.25, a is 0.25. So let's build and run this project. Let's see if this statement will come true. Okay, so when you do things like that, especially with the while statement, it's true. However, it's true for the entire duration of this program. So therefore, nothing will come because it's been true consistently, continuously. Yeah. So if I change this to an if, now let's see what will happen. Now this statement is true one time, right? So 0.25 and b is equal to 5. Okay, so let's put this time, say for example, else if a is less than 1 is. Okay, now let's comment this part out. Now I want to use the or operator, right? Okay, so if else if a is less than 1.0 or a is greater than 0.2, then put all of this inside a common bracket. Then actually here let's put something greater than 12.0, some other value that we haven't used before. Then b is equal to 25.0 and c is equal to 1.25, right? So let's print b and also add and c, right? So this time we are saying if a is either less than 1.0 or let's say this is the or operator, or if a is greater than 12.0. So just to check our stuff, let's put 13.2 14.25 this time, right? So let's build and run this project. Okay, so now b is 25, so this statement is true from this side. Yeah, so this statement is definitely not true because the value of a we put is 14.25, it's not less than 1.0. However, because we said if this is not true, let's look at this option. So if this option is true, this whole entire statement is still true. So I hope you got it. So this part is not true. However, we have an or operator. This part is true, so this is still dominant, right? So b is still 25 and c is 1.25. Okay, so let's see what we have done. We have used an if statement, an else if statement. We use some operators to control the kind of like where the program should be sitting in terms of trueness, and we used end operator, we used or operator, and we used else if and also else. Okay, right. The one thing that we can now do is I'm going to have to comment this entire thing out, and then we go to something called, right, because there's two of them. Okay, now we go. So when you want to make this work, just delete this part and then delete the corresponding opposite part, right? Okay, now we go to something called switch, which can be useful in some cases. So integer, let's say fruit is equal to, let's say 10, no 5, yeah, and then we say switch switch fruit, and then put curly brackets. Yeah, so let's put it here. Now we have an integer here which saying currently it's 5. Now the case 1, and then we say cout fruit is I don't know, something banana, and the line, and then break, right, and then we say case 2. Let's say actually this is made up of 3 just to make life a bit easier, so just use some backslashes, right. Cout fruit is apple, right, and then break, and then we have case 3, and then cout fruit is, I don't know, something like pear, right, so break. Okay, hopefully this should work. So now we are using something called switch. Let's see if it will build the project. Expected. All right, okay, I'm using the wrong operator. Let's see again. Okay, so let's run the project. Well, is there something running at the moment? Yeah, let's close this and then build and run. Fruit is pear at the moment because our number here says that fruit is 3, right? So let's try fruit equal 1. Now fruit is banana. Yeah, so this is how to use switch fruit. You have a case 1. If fruit is equal to 1, then the fruit is banana. If fruit is equal to 2, then fruit is apple, and so on. Okay, so hopefully you learned some kind of statements and flow controls in this particular video lesson. There's obviously much more to learn, but I'm trying to keep it at the most basic level. And see you in the next video.